Welcome to episode 15 of my 15-minute crochet series. If you haven't watched the previous episodes, I'll link them down in the description below. Today's 15-minute project is this cookie keychain, which if you actually make a lot of them, you could make them sort of like cookies for Santa for the holidays. This should only take 15 minutes, but if you're a beginner, it could take longer because you're learning stitches for the first time. For supplies, you will need a dark and a light brown of size 4 acrylic yarn, a 4.5mm crochet hook, a darning needle, scissors, and keychain hardware if you're making it into a keychain. So to begin, we'll be doing a magic circle using the light brown yarn. So hold your yarn exactly the way I'm holding it. Then your left hand will twist forward like this. Your right two fingers will grab this yarn right here and pull all the way until about here, where you can feel that there are two different holes open, like so. Then your hook will go to the top one, insert over there, and then you're going to make a chain 1. After making the chain 1, you turn your work horizontally like this, and that is how you make a magic circle. So now I'll be putting 6 single crochets inside this magic circle. How you do that is your hook will insert into the hole right here, yarn over, pull it back out the same direction, and then yarn over, pull through these 2 loops. That's a single crochet. So you're going to repeat this 6 times so that you have 6 single crochets total before we move on to row number 2. Once the 6 are done, you take the tail and then you pull all the way until the hole is completely closed. And then I'm going to look for the first single crochet that I made, which is right here. So it's this first single crochet that I made. I insert my hook in here and I'm going to make a slip stitch. So I insert, I yarn over, pull through that stitch and pull through the loop on my hook. And then to start the new row, I chain 1. Now for row number 2, we're going to increase all around. That means putting 2 single crochets inside each stitch. So this is my first single crochet, then I go back to the exact same one right here and make my second one. On the next stitch, I do the same, so just 2 single crochets on this stitch. So repeat these increases until you have 12 stitches overall for this row. Okay, now that I have my 12, I'm going to slip stitch again to the first single crochet I made just to close this row. And then I'm going to chain 1 to start row number 3. Okay, for row number 3, we're going to do 1 single crochet and then an increase on the next stitch. So first we do a single crochet on this first stitch. Then on the next stitch, I do an increase. So 2 single crochets in here. Then on the next stitch, another single crochet, and on the stitch after that, I do an increase. So repeat the pattern of single crochet and increase until you're done the row, and you should have 18 stitches overall. So these are the 18 stitches. I'm going to slip stitch to close this row again, and then do a chain 1 to start the next row. For this row, we're going to start with an increase. So in this first stitch, we're going to put 2 single crochets in here, and then we'll do 2 single crochets after that. So first, we'll do this increase, and then on the next stitch, we do a single crochet, and move on to the next stitch, another single crochet. So the pattern is increase, and then 2 single crochets. Increase, and then 2 single crochets. You should end up with 24 stitches for this row. Okay, 24 stitches are done. I do my slip stitch and then I chain 1 and then I cut my yarn because now we're going to move on to the other half of the cookie. So I cut my yarn and then my hook, I'll pull it upwards to make a knot. Now all you have to do is repeat the exact same thing I just did to make the other half of the cookie, but don't cut the yarn just yet. Okay, here is my second half of the cookie. I'm going to do my slip stitch and then chain 1, but I'm not going to cut my yarn. I then will take the first half that I already made, which is this one. Then I'm going to put the backs of these 2. These are the backs, and we're going to stick them right up against each other, like this. They have to face each other, so that the fronts are facing outwards. I tuck this tail in, because we're going to single crochet all around these 2 halves so that they can be sewn together. So here's how I do it. I press them up against each other. Make sure that the stitches are aligned so it's easier for you to work on. Then I'm going to insert my hook into this stitch right here, but I'm going to go all the way to the other half as well. Pick a stitch and insert my hook through that as well, like so. And then I'm going to make a slip stitch, so yarn over and then pull through both of those stitches and then into that loop. to finish your slip stitch. Then I move on to the next stitch, just right next to it. Then go all the way and making sure you have another stitch available on the other half. And then complete your slip stitch. To make sure that you're doing this evenly, you can count how many slip stitches you've made so far, and you should have a total of 24, which means you were able to account for all the stitches. So just continue doing these slip stitches and then stop about halfway through so that you can tuck all the tails in so that they stay inside, and then continue all the way around. So here I am, I paused for a second because these tails have to go inside the cookie, and then I just have to continue my slip stitches. Okay, so I am on my last one now. I'm gonna slip stitch back to the beginning and then chain 1, and now I am finished. I'm going to cut my yarn, pull my hook upwards, and then I'll use my darning needle to put this tail inside of the cookie. Now moving on to the chocolate chips, we're going to use our darning needle, and we're gonna do it per side, so just one side at a time. We're gonna start on this one before doing the other one. Okay, so I insert my needle on the side and I just pick a spot. Your chocolate chips could be really random, it doesn't matter where you put them. So yeah, I just make them about 1 stitch wide, and for some of them I double it up, so I go back into the same hole so that the chip looks thicker. But for some of them, like look at this one, I'm transferring to a different one now. I'm probably just gonna do it once so that it's a little bit smaller and thinner. You would want some variety in the chips that you're making. And as you saw, I looked to the other side to make sure that I wasn't sewing onto the back as well, because I want my other side to be done separately. Okay, so just continue doing your chocolate chips. It's honestly up to you how many you want to make before you move on to the other side. This is what my one side looks like. I'm just going to do the other side as well. Okay, so I finished my cookie on both sides. Now I'm just going to attach the keychain. Now, you can also make different colors of this cookie. Like for one of them, I just reversed it so it was brown first and then the chips were lighter brown. You could make any flavor you want. That's why it's so fun to make. Anyway, that's the end of the tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that it was easy and very straightforward to follow, and I will see you all in my last episode next week, episode 16. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this 15-minute crochet series, and I'll see you all next week.